Welcome to the BIDE podcast, the podcast of the Barcelona International Dance Exchange. Today, in our episode 105, we have as a guest Iztok Kovač. Iztok, thank you so much to give us a time to talk with each other. And welcome.
García, Seba, for invitation in lep pozdrav vsem, ki govorijo slovensko in me razumejo, če govorim svoj domači materni jezik.
Thank you so much.
I was welcoming all the Slovenians to
thank you so much to do it in your language. So first of all, where are you from? Where you are talking with us?
From our office. I'm in the office.
And where is your office? In what part of the globe?
EN-KNAP Productions, that I am the founder and director, they're based in Ljubljana, in Slovenia, and more specifically in Španski Borci Cultural Center, which we are managing since 2009.
Okay, great. So, a second question is about how you describe yourself. Who is Iztok? For the people that maybe don't know you, we tend to describe ourselves through the things we do. We have a talk last year in Mastanza about that. But for the people who are listening, how you describe yourself, or how you feel that Iztok is nowadays in this 2025?
Yeah. Maybe I can start with what I'm not. I'm definitely not an emerging artist. I'm not an emerging dancer or choreographer that I used to be 20 years ago. I'm also not any longer the choreographer of a dance group, EN-KNAP group, which is now a permanent company, which has its home in Španski Borci Culture Center that I mentioned before. And basically, I'm the father of 4 boys, and I am a passionate skier. Sport was my very strong background. In the last 2 years, I discovered a very, very interesting and challenging new sport. It is a water polo, that you in Spain are very familiar because you have a very good national team. Mm-hmm. And I'm also, let's say, more professionally, I'm living out of my passion. In fact, out of my passion to dance. Mm. In the last years, it all turned into more kind of managing or programming works, bringing works to Ljubljana, to Slovenia, organizing networks, being part of few cultural calls, European cultural calls at the same time, or projects, welcoming everybody to our first edition of the Moving Balkans in the 10th of May in Ljubljana, Rijeka, and Zagreb. And these are, in fact, my occupations in the last period.
Mm-hmm. And you just said that you left the choreography side of yourself. So nowadays, what do you think? Besides all the activities that you just described, what do you do? What do you think? Do you bring to the performing arts environment? Some I know you a bit, so I know that you like to challenge. With some challenging question or phrases. But what do you think is your take nowadays?
I would say this slogan that we heard often, but this becomes kind of reality now, thinking locally, acting globally. But somehow I am really very much aware what happened with contemporary dance in Slovenia, in our small country. I'm since its beginnings, when it established, and how we changed the political regime, how this affected everything. how the things grow and fall and grow and fall, and how the generations now we are trying to establish some kind of public institution and so on. But basically, when I say locally, I mean that I try to bring as much as possible interesting works that I think they are not present and they should be visible in the country by mixing or interacting with different networks, with different people globally. And what I think it's also very important is to be aware of not getting rid of national kind of thinking, but the regional way of thinking becomes an issue, you know, something like we established with the Pan-Adria network, so which connects stages from Slovenia, Croatia, Italy, and allows us to present works also to when we have a guest performer from far away, it is shared among these stages and so on. So I think regional way of thinking and collaboration between across the border, not so very far as we did before, but in this kind of regional context. I guess that would be probably the strongest concentration or way I was acting in the last period.
And what is your or what type of questions you are dealing with nowadays? You know, with what describe about what's happening in your country, in your city, and also in this European environment, and also related to this Moving Balkans project that is happening soon, and we hopefully be there to explore and to know more about what is going on there.
That's very not an easy question, but thinking from perspective some years ago, or let's say after COVID, it's a challenge. Challenge to find new ways how to deal with the audience, you know, and with the problem of the needs or let's say the changes, the perspective that the audience have towards the performing arts, you know, the ways how to convince the audience that contemporary dance or circles that we are circling is something that it's worth to pay a ticket, and that they would go for it and they would see it in all different medias, you know. So one of the things that it really attracts me in the last period is to bring dance, to make the dance the most important thing, or I would say the star, the player, the protagonist, but present it in a different medias. You know, that's why we met also on some festivals where with these short forms. We are starting now in September a festival, a new festival, a tryout, a pilot version for only 3 days in Ljubljana, around our theater, where we will present dance on stage, dance on film, and dance in the VR. Since in the last period we invested a lot in the VR technology, we would like to learn, how to say, what's the word, to stimulate audience to get out of comfortable zone, you know, audience who only love to see live performance, that they realize that also dance films is another genre, and that it could be really, it could be a very strong artistic signature or work. And the same thing, very new, the fresh genre, which is a VR. In our case, we are discovering 360 space and how this new perspective would affect technological approach, and how audience would benefit of it, how the audience would realize that this is nothing to compare with stage, nothing to compare with the film, which are both kind of frame, but to be somehow discovered themselves in completely new 360 environment and find dance in that situation. And also not being with other spectators, but being alone with the dancer. So these are the challenges.
Yeah, they are big challenge. And what what do you think now where you are now, and how you describe your place and your question, and that all this performative environment gives back to you? You know, what is for Iztok? What you are what do you think that you're receiving? You know, besides that, you also put a lot of energy in your family, in the sports. You know, and you dance for many years and make many pieces. How do you feel nowadays? This performing arts that give you, if you feel that give you something back, you know?
Well, is the fortune? Is this the I bought villa in Bahami, you know, that's one of the things, you know. I have a big hut in the Alps, in the Switzerland, you know, and I have a yacht in the Mediterranean Sea. So these are the definitely the benefits that got through the dance. And
and you're mentioning in Los Angeles, no? Also.
yeah, I forgot to say this. Yes.
Yes.
Of course, you've been on all these places, you know. You can share.
We was there before together. Yes.
Yeah. But behind that, I think it's a passion, you know. It's a passion it's invaluable. It's something that contemporary dance was smuggled in my life. You know, I didn't want it. I was not planning to spend my life with contemporary dance, but somehow it happened, you know. And I was not thinking, I was not challenging myself to reach something, you know, in some period of my life, whatever, but things happened. There were opportunities. We were grabbing opportunities. We were always dedicated to what we were doing. We set high standards in a kind of national context, you know. For us personally, I set high standards for collaborators, from dancers to all these collaborators. There were over 500 that passed in, I know, 30 years through EN-KNAP Productions. And I think this is something that I don't feel that I can't escape, or that I'm in the cage or cave, that it's something that that feels some kind of pressure. But I think it was really a privilege. I think what happened with contemporary dance in my life, it's a privilege. So therefore, it's invaluable, I guess. You know, it's really something. I'm so happy that it happened, and I'm so happy that it turned in that way, that it affected all my private life as well, and that we are all sharing it. You know, so
and
my
yeah, and looking back backwards, well, what was the moment that you realized you could do it? You know, that this dance, this turn really happens, and you say, "Ah, yes, let's go for it." I mean, maybe you have many moments, and no need to be, you know, the moment that you, I don't know, dance in the whatever theater. You know, can be when you make a coffee when you are younger. So you remember some moment that you.
Yeah, maybe. I think, but that was in 80s already, you know. In 80s when I was still student or whatever, you know, not art student. I am a technical person, you know. I was studying security. I know, at work. I don't know how this is even translated in English, but. Dance was already there, and then it was this. I went to Budapest. I went to Hungary, and there was a workshop, and there was this guy, Rhys Martin, who's now still the teacher and pedagogue in Berlin, in the theater school in Berlin, the school in Berlin. I don't know exact name, and he convinced me to join his project in Frankfurt. And I came as a young Yugoslavian boy to this, and then I just realized, wow, this is a completely new world that I don't know, that I didn't have chance to experience in Yugoslavia at the time, you know. And then also I saw two works. I saw the same year, I saw two works in Rotterdam, in Holland, that I was often passing up and down. And that was Lloyd Newson and Nigel Charnock's My Sex, Our Dance, the duet, and the first work of Joseph Nach, Canary Pekinois. And that was these two shows said, shit, this is something I see myself. This is so challenging. This is something I would like to do. You know, this is me. You know. Then I came to Lloyd after the show. I said, Lloyd, I'm doing the same. I'm moving the same as two of you. You know, so I think we should work together. And Lloyd said, well, we just have audition in London. Why don't you come? You know, there was audition for his first company, and then for the film. And what was also funny then with Russell Maliphant, we stayed till the end. Two of us, we stayed till the end to this audition. If I know how many men. And, yeah. And then anyway, he chose for Russell for the company. But yeah, I think there were these two shows and Rhys Martin, yeah. Australian photographer at the time, influenced by Reinhild Hoffman.
And also, you know, looking backwards, and it's a question that we start to make this year. What do you think was your biggest mistake or a moment that you fuck up? You know, you remember some? I mean, I have so many that I don't know if I can number so all of them, but if you can remember one and share with us.
Yeah. Well, of course, there were many. Yeah. I mean, something that really I remember that really hurt me was the kind of generational fight or fight between generations. So it happened professionally with the company in some point that we had. I think they were all overloaded with performances, and somehow I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand that the young generation of dancers have a different motivations, have a different background, or they are made out of different characteristic, different needs that I represented. So I realized that there is quite a big gap between how to approach, how to value things, how to appreciate things. And it was really important and very, very difficult. It was not maybe a mistake, but it was really, for me, a crisis where I have to act in a way that I really did want, you know. And I was at that moment, I have to how to say, get rid of the whole company. So we stopped the contract with all the dancers and started from the beginning, from the scratch.
And
that was not
yeah,
a mistake. It was a kind of difficult period. Yeah.
Yeah, and just one more in this direction, and how many times have you thought about quitting or living up? You know,
About what?
About quitting the dance field or the performing arts.
Never.
Never.
No.
Okay.
Never, because it becomes really some kind of integral part of what I was doing. So this was not. It becomes not my profession. I met so many interesting people and so many opportunities and challenges all the time. All the time, new doors were opening. So that was just a privilege, not at all. So not at all. I was thinking to quit or to stop with that. Never, really.
And looking to the future, because I mean, you are one of my references, no? And I told you that I was one of my first classes in Belgium when I first came to Europe in the early 2000s. What is your and we have some personal talks about it. What is your take or your opinion on what is next in this field? You know, you talk about how to bring the audience to to be exposed to the contemporary dance. But what is your vision, and what is going on, and what can be the next step, so to speak?
Well, we can't isolate this thought from a general happenings in the world. Many people are comparing this period between the period before the Second War. What happened? What were the changes there? What happened in art? What is at the time? What was a need? What had to be done? But it was not, maybe, or how art could more intensively incorporate into the changes, or into the things that they were just in front, but not didn't happen yet. I believe that these kind of questions we will. I mean, we can answer this later on. So at the moment, I think what is important is to not to isolate for things to happen. So if you need to speak loud, you have to speak loud. It's not time to. I don't think now it's a good moment for decorations. It's for soft speeches, for how to say, acting in the gloves, instead of shooting things or out. So I guess also I noticed in the last, in last years, this kind of changes towards realistic, towards the real questions, towards the real problems. So young generation also find a way how to treat the technical, theatrical elements in a different way. So there are many challenges, the way how we were perceiving theater 30, 40 years ago, or how we are perceiving it now, the contemporary stage, let's say, performing arts. And I guess that has to go on. So there are traces all over. I think there will be a big artistic stream, as it was in the past. But I think the individual voices, individual author poetics are going to become stronger and stronger. And there are so many opportunities nowadays comparing to, let's say, 30, 40 years ago, opportunities in the sense where the artist can perform, how the art is supported, how the art is distributed locally, regionally, internationally. How many people are involved in these activities, and how many there were before, how bigger budgets, in generally speaking, of course, are comparing to that period. And somehow, I see that the strong voices will carry on as it is in the nature, as it was in the history.
Yeah, really clear. So So to go through to what could I say? Lo voy a decir en español, redondear. So to go just to the end of this podcast, we have the usual, the last years that every guest left a question to the next one without knowing who will be. Yeah. So you have one, but before I give you your question, what do you like to ask to the next to our next guest without knowing who will be?
Yeah. What is the difference between the alpine skiing and the telemark skiing?
Okay.
You know?
No, because I'm not a ski guy. Between the alpine
style of skiing and the telemark style of skiing.
Telemark.
Yeah. Because I'm international instructor for the telemark skiing, and do you want to know the answer so that you can be proud and you can say what it is? You don't need to Google, or you will Google?
No. I mean, this is a question for our next guest. It's not for me.
Yeah, I know, but it's good that you know the answer, no?
No, yeah, but let's keep it open.
Okay.
So I like the question. So it's typical Iztok. So you have a question from Agustina Sario. So in Spanish, she asked, ¿de qué modo tu práctica te transforma? What in English means, in what ways your practice transform yourself?
My practice. Now it's a question, practice of what? No?
Yeah, well.
She probably meant studio.
Can be the water polo, yeah.
Class. Could be water polo, no?
I mean, so your team is amazing. I remember the photos, so.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, shit. This is impossible. Okay. Once in half a year, this telephone rings, No, it's not telephone. Probably they are repairing something. Can you repeat one more time the question, please?
Yes. In what way or mood your practice transform yourself?
I think stamina, continuation, sustainability. Sustainability.
Okay.
Sustainability is something that with my age you start to appreciate, and you know how to invest in the small things to reach big results.
Absolutely. So, and finally, what be the tagline of this conversation with each other? How you title this podcast?
What would be the title of it?
Yes.
From Falcon to Heaven.
Well, thank you so much, Iztok, for giving us into your busy agenda time to share a bit of your universe and also your sense of humor. And it's a pleasure to feel your energy all the time. Yeah.
Thank you, Seba. Is it possible that I say some hello to somebody if they will listen?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, I'm sending my to heaven. This is to heaven. I'm sending a message to heaven to my father and mother, and sending him big regards from me. And congratulations, my dear father. You will have birthday in a week of time. Birthday. Birthday.
Thank you so much, Iztok.
Pleasure.
So this was
pleasure. Thank you for inviting, and it's always pleasant pleasure to speak with you.
Yeah, the same. So this was episode number 105 with Iztok Kovač, and see you in the next one. Bye.
Kovač.
Kovač.